You're gonna be under arrest.
For what?
For not listening to me.
I think the emergency is the video, somebody's videotaping.
Okay. And the shirt says, I believe, balls deep. He says his name is Captain Awesome.
Hey guys, Rogue Nation here with you today. Today we got a video from Miami Circus. Some of you might remember this young man. I had done a video on him a while back, maybe last year. He is a gentleman down in Miami-Dade who believes in transparency, believes in accountability. He has this YouTube channel here that we see, Miami Circus. It's a little under 4,000 subscribers. But more importantly than that is he's running for mayor of Miami. Now, if you're one of my viewers down in Miami, this is definitely a guy that you should look into, because I think this guy's going to be more transparent than the government that they have in there now. I'm hoping I can get him on to do an interview and see just how, you know, transparent he really is. You know, to see if he's really going to, you know, allow government accountability and transparency in his administration, which I believe he will. Seems like a very stand-up, genuine guy. So hopefully we'll get to know him better. But today's video is about a code violation hearing, citation hearing that him and his wife are going through. It's an interesting case. It's an interesting video. I'm not going to talk a lot during this right here. As you can see down here in the corner, he has superimposed himself onto the video. He does a lot of stopping and explaining who the people are, what their jobs are, you know, that sort of thing. And he does a really good job of pointing everything out that you need to, you know, you need to look at. So I'm just pretty much sharing this because I think his situation needs to be recognized by more people, get seen by more people. You know, not a lot of people have gone through these code violation hearings. I think, you know, a lot of people find this to be interesting. But yeah, definitely something that you should check out. In this description, I'm not going to include in my description, but in his description, he's got the full hearing, the unedited full hearing that he got as a public record. He also talks about the transcripts of the hearing. So in order to appeal this board's verdict, you have to have a transcript of the hearing. Now, from what he's saying, the transcript of the hearing is going to run him $3,500. So you can see how the government is, you know, trying to squeeze money out of people in order to get justice done in their favor, right? So it's just ridiculous, the amount of costs that we have to incur in order to, you know, prove that we're innocent when, you know, supposedly we're innocent until found guilty, but that's never the case, as you all know. So yeah, enjoy the video, guys. Leave me a message in the description, or excuse me, in the comments down below. Let me know if you guys would appreciate seeing a video interview of this gentleman and his bid for mayor of Miami. And without further ado, guys, we'll let you get to it. All right, thank you.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me on this channel here today. So the video you are about to see is an 8-hour hearing that I had for 6 citations. 3 were dropped right off the bat, and you'll be able to see this on this video. And I'm going to break this up into multiple different segments. I don't want it to get it too long, so I'm going to try to limit my what I say. The video is about just under 9 minutes, I believe, long, and I will do my best to make sure I don't talk too much. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and get started. If you look here on the screen, you're going to see my disclaimer. I can go through and read it all, but you can pause and read it. Remember, do not try to contact anybody. Don't dox them, stuff like that. And, well, I mean, you can read it. I truly believe that these are good people in their individual capacity, all that stuff. All right, let's get right to the video. You can read the disclaimer on your own. We're going to make this big, and I will commentate as I go. Here we go.
Just so it's clear, I don't consent to reproduction of your videos on any websites or any other media.
It's my understanding you won't talk to me with a camera.
No,
these are negotiations outside. These are something I'm allowing to happen as a courtesy
No,
of the
but you
parties.
can talk. I'm not going to talk with a camera. I'm happy to talk to you.
All right, so real quick, I'm gonna pause it there so that you guys can see some stuff. So this guy right here that doesn't want to talk to me on camera, this is David Sherman. You can see he doesn't agree with the reproduction of anything. I'm sure he's gonna try to sue me, in which case I will countersue because he is a public official. He is there in his government capacity. Everything here is being audio and video recorded. This is a public hearing. This is open to the public and all that. Who's to say they can't record and use that? I had great conversations with David, and like I said, on a personal level, I think he's a wonderful man. In his government capacity, though, he's a big piece of shit, and I hate his guts. Because you're going to see it's malicious what they're doing to me. Let me just go ahead and prove it this way. So if you go over here to Miami-Dade County Muni Code, so library.muni code, you got to make sure it says, this is February 14th, so it's current, and Miami-Dade County Code of Ordinances. If you go to 8cc-2, which you see Chapter 8cc Code Enforcement, this is qualifications of officers and removal and the organization, stuff like that. And you'll see that the county manager shall, okay, fine. The hearing officer review board shall, very good. Hearing officer shall, everything you'll see the county manager or his designee shall. And the word shall is very, very important here, of course. What does the word shall mean? Well, you can look it up. And 2 and 3 are the ones that that really pertain to this, you know, because you have first person, they have future tense, and I think it's first person then used to in questioning. Okay. So 2, express a strong assertion or intention. Well, intention. Now you hear about intention a lot in law. Remember, I'm a layman. I'm not a lawyer. Everything that you're going to see, all that stuff is my opinion. And number 3, expressing an instruction or command. That's the way, you know, when I look it up in the dictionary, that's pretty much what it says. So what pertains, I mean, everything pertains to us. And the hearing officer is Peter Kokalachis. He's going to get his own segment, his own video. Remember, we're going to do many, many, many segments based on this 8-hour hearing that covers these 3 citations. So down here in number E, 8cc-2 number E, the Miami-Dade County Attorney's Office must, it's commanded, serve as general counsel to the hearing officer. And this is where things are going to get very, very tricky. You can see where he's standing or sitting. Right next to this is Peter Kochalakos. This is the hearing officer. This is my gorgeous wife. You all should be very jealous. I don't know how I landed that. But I guess she likes clowns, and, well, I'm a clown, especially according to the county. They've never called me a clown, but I know that's what they call me behind the scenes because I own a circus school. So anyway, this is David Sherman. He doesn't like he doesn't want any of this to be seen. He doesn't want to talk to me on the camera because I believe he knows and he thinks he's going to be able to control this. He's going to be able to sue me. He can't. And like I said, I'll just countersue, and that'll go, and you have to pay my attorney's fees, his attorney's fees, all that out of his own pocket. He can't use county money at that point. So that's going to be very interesting to see what happens if he wants to try to price me out, which is what they are trying to do. By the way, the transcript for this, I just got the bill. It's over $3,500. I can't appeal without that transcript. And they know this. And you'll be able to see in other videos that this should have been appealed. And I'm going to prove it a little bit here. But anyway, David Sherman. So that's who's David Sherman. I'm going to go into it real quickly and then we'll go into the video. This is David Sherman. If you go to the county attorney's office website, Miami-Dade, you can see here, this is our county attorney, Bonzo Keenan. And then you have your assistant county attorneys, first assistant, executive assistant. And then all of these are your assistant county attorneys. Some are higher ranking than others. David is a high ranking. Let's see. I think there's Dennis Corbo's his boss. You've seen Dennis in some of my other videos. If we go down, you'll see David Sherman at the S's. Here it is, David Sherman. Again, he doesn't like his picture to be out there on the internet, so he doesn't have it up here. I don't know if that's why. That's just what I'm saying. But if you click onto his name, you can see, you can read about this. He was before joining the county attorney's office, David was an assistant state attorney at the office of the state attorney in Miami-Dade County. So essentially he was a DA, district attorney, assistant state attorney. So anyway, so you can read this about David Sherman, and he's been with Miami-Dade County since 2012. So he knows the deal. He knows what's going on. If you go over here, if you go to this website here, you'll be able to see what he makes a year. But this is from 2022. You can see here, assistant county attorney 2. and his annual wage in 2022 was $275,596. That's I think that's north of $300,000 now in 2024, but who's to say? I don't know. All right, and then if I go over here, here's his bar license, and you can see this is the downtown address for the county attorney's office, and it says Suite 28. That's just below the mayor's. Suite 20 is the second floor to the top. The mayor's office at the very top of the 29th floor. I've been to both. Anybody can go there. But this is his address. There's no personal information on here. Sherman at miami-dade.gov. That's his work email. All of this, his bar license or bar number, I'm sorry, is there. All of this is public information, where he went to school, and he has, in the last 10 years, he's had no disciplinary history. I think because of this video and because of this hearing, that's going to change, and we're going to go into it why. And it's not personal for what I'm doing. The public has the right to know these things. These are county employees. And they have the right to know when they're doing something that's unethical and I believe illegal. It's a violation of the Constitution. You know, I'm all about the Constitution. So anyway, so that's him. Now, let's watch the video a little more. I'm going to introduce Ingrid Castillo. So remember, he's the county attorney's, he works for the county attorney's office. And he is the general counsel to Peter Cocholato, the hearing officer, who is a layman who does not have a bar license. I looked him up. He's not licensed to practice law. He's not expected to know the law. So he relies very heavily on David's advice because, well, David's general counsel. As stated back here in the code, the Miami-Dade County Attorney's Office shall serve as general counsel to the hearing officer. Again, not to make this video too loud, but if you go to the City of Orlando Mooney Code, they actually require their hearing officers to be licensed attorneys. They have to have a bar number, and they do that because you give more validity, in my opinion. This is all my opinion, remember. You give more validity to this hearing that affects people's lives. These are judgments, and judges are attorneys, you know, and then they're raised to that level of a judge. But judges have bar licenses. They can practice law themselves. But anyway, so there it is. There's the code. I kind of understood that, but I hadn't found it until I did this research. And there are several things that I kind of understood, but I didn't really understand it until this hearing. I needed this hearing to happen. And I'm not a lawyer. Just like Peter Kochalakos is not a lawyer. He thinks he is, and you'll be able to see that throughout the segments, and he's going to get his own segment. He thinks he's a lawyer. He's sustaining and overruling objections. I didn't object once because I'm not an attorney. I don't know what that necessarily means. I don't know what I can object to. So he kind of just David Sherman did something at one point, and it won't be in this video, but he was like, "I'm going to overrule that objection." He objected, and he said, "I'm going to overrule," but I didn't object. Like, I don't know. Is David Sherman trying to be my attorney too? I'm not sure. But the one thing you can see is that David Sherman is most definitely representing code enforcement in this hearing. Yet he's general counsel for him. And comment down below if you would. Do you think that's ethical? Do you think that could be a violation of due process? If you have a county attorney here, and then we're going to talk about Ingrid Castillo, who sits over here. We'll talk about her, but you have a county attorney here that's one litigating for code enforcement, the movement, I think they call it the movement, the person who's like prosecuting, or the plaintiff maybe, because it's a civil thing. And then here's your hearing officer who's acting like a judge, and he's not a judge, he's not an attorney, but he's also giving counsel to this hearing officer. There is no Your Honor, there is no judge. He is a referee, that you can say. But it's interesting. You'll see that in other parts. So let's continue watching. All right, but you won't do it with a camera.
No, thanks.
Okay.
Just have,
You have an announcement to make?
not an announcement necessarily, maybe a question. Mr. Quintero has put a microphone there and there, I think. I don't know what the technology is. And then this is the microphone that's installed in the room. Do we know that those are not going to cause feedback?
Static feedback.
I'm not sure how the system operates.
If you can show that it doesn't
I have
appear.
no idea.
Right.
I just don't want to have a whole hearing and then we find out later that the official microphone is not able to capture the of the speaker speaking.
One second, gentlemen. I'm going to have my clerk try and see if we can run back some of it because this information, this thing, whatever's beeping, has been running. So maybe he can check.
Okay.
Kind of a sound check.
May I put this one back there?
You do whatever you want with the phone thing. Just don't interfere with my witnesses.
You bet. All right, so real quick, this guy right here, I think he's in training and he's observing. I know he was miserable. These are your three witnesses in the back against the wall. This is a director, at least assistant director. This guy's retired. He's the one who issued the citation. And this guy over here is a big fat liar, Marcelo. And he was nice to me when he came visit. See, I invited them. I invited them to come and look and be like, listen, nothing's connected here. I'm not opposed to pulling permits by any means. It's just they wanted me to have a contract. It's like, that's not what the law says. And I did that. And then this beautiful black man right here, this is my federal litigator. He's the one who knows David Sherman. He's going to laugh when he when he sees this. But come on, look at him. He's beautiful, right? And I obviously I like him. These other people over here, not big fans of them, but again, nothing personal. We are playing a high-risk game. They are Goliath. I am David. They're going to try to. They are trying to price me out. Like I said, just the transcript for this is $3,500, and that's fine. I've mortgaged the house. So we're $125,000 deep into this. Luckily, I'm on an acre just outside of Miami Shores. Yeah, the house is worth a lot of money, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if they can price me out. But it is a very dangerous game that we are both playing. And right now I'm holding the cards. In poker, you call it the nuts. I'm holding the nuts, and I'm walking around with the big old nuts. Because, and we'll go into that with the Florida bar and how they're going to look at David Sherman. All right, let's keep going.
We're all good?
Yeah, no feedback.
Okay. All right. We've solved the question with regard to reception. The department have any announcements it wants to make with reference to these citations?
Yes, we are going to be.
All right. So since we're here, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you who this is. This is Ingrid Castillo. This is important because Ingrid Castillo does the opening. She does the questioning. She does not work for the county attorney's office. Her whole point of being here is she's hired by RER and she works directly for RER. RER is Regulatory and Economic Resources, which is code enforcement is within that. The building department, the zoning department, all that's under the umbrella of RER. And the county attorney's office is a separate entity to this. So she cannot give advice to Peter Cochelacos. She can only address the facts, ask questions. She cannot testify. So anyway, who is Ingrid Castillo? And by the way, there's a detective from Miami-Dade County Public Corruptions Unit, Miami-Dade County Police Public Corruption Unit, has prepared because of our last hearing. Ingrid did do a lot of illegal things. She straight up lied to the hearing officer. The DA didn't want to do anything because they said, well, she's an attorney, and that's fine. Ingrid, you're going to get your own video. Once that report comes out, you're going to get your own bar complaint. We'll let the Florida bar, those who regulate attorneys, we'll let them decide if your actions were in the interest of the public. Were you protecting the public when you just straight up lied and tried to introduce evidence that had no bearing? But okay, anyway, Ingrid will get her own thing. So who is Ingrid Castillo? If we go right here, so if you type into the same website, Ingrid Castillo, I've put this on a separate video. In 2022, and this is still her title, she's RER, Code Compliance Legal Liaison. All right, so we went to David's bar information. Now we can go to Ingrid Zuleika Castillo, and you can see here's 11805. This is where code enforcement is located. So again, she puts her office address and her office number, her office email, which is normal. And she was admitted to practice law last year. She's been practicing for less than a year, and she's already going to get 2 complaints on me for these 2 separate hearings She'll get investigated twice because at the very least it warrants an investigation. This one, she does lie and she does talk about the complaint again. She says that certain things don't matter. So when you get your own video, you'll get another Gabar complaint. Don't worry, Ingrid, it is coming. But anyway, so in less than a year of practicing law, she's going to be investigated. And it's on a personal level, I feel bad, but being that she's working for the government and she should know better, and we are constitutionalists, she can go fuck herself. I genuinely do not care. I hate your guts with all your heart when you're operating as a government entity or in your government capacity under color of law. A big F you. I really don't care about you. On a personal level, I believe I could have been best friends with her. She's really cool. She really is. I think she's a sweet person. And if it wasn't for her being so negligent or malice or incompetent, whatever you want to call it, it's just like David Sherman. If it wasn't for that, if we had met under certain different circumstances, man, I like these people. You know, it's the same thing with the mayor of Miami-Dade County. I genuinely like her, but she is not fit to do the job, and she must be removed from office. We have to vote her out, and that's what I mean by removed. You got to remember my terminology. I try to be strong at all times. I do try to make sure you understand a lot of these are metaphors, and I'm stating an opinion because we have these rights to criticize our government and criticize government officials. You see, when I'm a public figure, when I become mayor, people are going to criticize me, and I'm prepared for it. I don't have a choice. People are going to hate me. They don't even know me, but that's the way it's supposed to be. I welcome it. You should hate me. That's what keeps me accountable. I have to listen to your speech. That's what I'm fighting to protect. For you to go out there and say, fuck you. Anyway, but I really do think she's sweet. She's a beautiful person. Again, while we're here and talking about her in her capacity, fuck her. All right, so that's Ingrid Castillo. And we're going into the Florida bar. Let's go back to the video. I don't want to take too much time in this video. I just want you guys to see it.
Waiting P042012.
P012.
012, yes.
So P042012 is voided.
Pay attention to this sign. It was blurred before. Better camera.
P042013.
13 is voided.
And citation T108304.
Is voided.
It's part of my federal lawsuit. They voided those for a reason.
That leaves me with P042009, P042011, and P042014. Is that correct?
I think he has a question.
Yes.
You have a question?
Would they have to give a reason why it's being voided?
Nope. The discretion of what they want to do with their charging instruments prior to taking evidence is their discretion. All right, what's status on the...
Now again, Peter's going to get his own video. I will show you that he knew better. He should have reversed these citations. I made a great argument on procedural due process. They didn't do the proper procedure. Also, I believe he was coached, and you're going to see that later on in this video. He definitely knew who I was. He knew about my previous citation hearing, and I can't prove that he was coached, but I do believe that he was prepared for them to drop these 3 citations. He's making it look like he wasn't. You know, it's all smoke and mirrors, but I'm going to make some good arguments for that. I'm not going to go after Peter. He's a layman. He's a dumbass, just like me. We're all laymen. We're not, when it comes to the law, that is. Yeah, he's a brilliant man. When it comes to the law, we're dumbasses. You know, we didn't go to law school. We didn't pass the bar exam. We weren't accepted into the bar. We don't have a license to practice law. He does not have a license to be a judge. But because the way Miami-Dade County gets around is because David Sherman is here now. He has general counsel, now gives legitimacy to this hearing. If it wasn't for general counsel, you can't have somebody who doesn't practice law be a judge. But if you have general counsel, well, it's kind of accepted, you know, because not all attorneys want to be hearing officers. But dumbasses like us, well, hell yeah, he gets paid between $400 and $800 a day. Like this day, he made $800, no questions asked. So he could be there all night, and I think he makes more. I think that was just the minimum after 4 hours. Like his minimum, if he just shows up for 15 minutes of work, he gets $400. Anything after 4 hours, he gets $800. But he gets paid like $100 an hour. So if we're here for 16 hours, which we weren't, it was 8 hours. You know, hey, that's $1,600 for the day. So you'll hear him mention it. But David Sherman is the one who gives legitimacy to this process. The problem is what you're going to see. David Sherman. So she's the attorney for code enforcement. David Sherman is the general counsel for him. Makes sense, right? That's what the code says. That's what you see here. All that stuff. Let's keep watching.
All right, what status on these two? You've had a chance to meet with the alleged violators outside, and have you reached an impasse?
Yes, we're gonna move forward.
You're moving forward. That my understanding? Okay. All right, county,
Did you
proceed.
say these two, meaning these 2 citations?
3 citations.
Oh, okay, good.
I got 3 left.
You do?
Yes,
Yes.
that's correct. All right. We would like to call Marcelo Velasquez. I have no further questions of Mr. Kunquan.
Okay. Now, before we get started, because I've got union stuff I gotta deal with here, I'm inclined to give a brief 30-minute lunch break for the rest of us. He may have a clerk, depending on how they work it out upstairs. I gotta be sensitive to their union rules. Of course. Okay, which is appropriate. I'm not sensitive to really anything else at this juncture relative to lunch. 30 minutes, okay? Folks, it will be, unless you want to take your phone with you, that's certainly your option. But nothing's going to be disturbed in this room, I want to make that clear. You can leave your stuff or do whatever it is you want with it. Mr. Sherman's on his own.
Boom! Mr. Sherman's on his own. How do you like them apples? Peter very much understands that David Sherman is there to be his general counsel. He's been doing this for 28 years, and he actually said at the very end, one of the best presentations he's seen is in his 28 years. And thank you, your flattery means absolute dick to me. But thank you, whatever. You know, he did. In all fairness, I could tell that he knew he should have reversed all these citations. But again, he was coached. He was, and you'll see this at the end. I just got to let you watch the video. I'm sorry.
I essentially got to go through everything in cross because of the kindness of everybody here.
It's not kindness, it's due process. You're...
Okay, right there, due process. Sorry, I had to pause it. First of all, I have an attorney, and my attorney should have been there. You see, because my attorney was always representing me in this matter. He was supposed to be there. He couldn't be there because he had another hearing. He let them know he had another hearing. I let them know when I arrived, my attorney's not going to be here. He has another hearing. What should have happened ethically is there should have been a continuance. Now, I kind of knew it, but I don't. I'm not an attorney. Like I said, I'm a dumbass when it comes to the law. I do my best, to protect myself. I do rely on the council of attorneys. I have found that every attorney says something different on any question you ask them. Every attorney will say something different on any legal question you ask them, in my experience. Any question I've asked. There's about 4 attorneys that I'm always asking questions, and all of them are friends. And they each give me a different answer and different reasoning. And that is fascinating to me. Okay, so that's what should have happened here. Ethically, for due process, there should have been a continuance. My attorney was supposed to be present because according to the Florida Bar, once an attorney is representing a client, the proceedings should never be allowed to go forward unless that attorney is present. But okay.
We're allowed to go through that as well.
We were also kind.
Sometimes.
Everybody's been perfect. It's a very kumbaya hearing. I'm actually quite impressed. Okay, so when you say this is a business endeavor, which you're perfectly entitled to have, would it be accurate for me to interpret that comment as being this particular trapeze as being part of your business?
It is.
Is it open to the public?
Not directly. No walk-ins are allowed. They have to sign up by Florida
So it's
statute.
open to the public by reservation?
Correct.
Okay, all right,
Yes.
okay.
We've had probably thousands and thousands and thousands of participants since all of this has happened.
On the property?
On and off the property, yes. Because
So
I set up in other places.
It's a
as well.
traveling trapeze?
It's a traveling trapeze.
There you go. I want to pause that right there. There's two things you should have picked up there. Not necessarily because you don't necessarily my thing, but he just admitted because it's a traveling trapeze. It's not a permanent structure, and that's what the county was trying to argue. That's what the witness was saying, which is the guy who issued the citation, who's retired. He retired 2 weeks after he issued the citation, and he told his own. He's going to get his own video. He told a bunch of lies. That's Kendall Poon Kwan. He's a piece of shit, and he told a bunch of lies because he was coached, and he was nervous, and and probably lightly coached. He should have been coached a little bit more. It's completely unethical to do that, but whatever, they do it, right? This whole process is completely unethical, but yet they do it. And I don't know if they've been doing it for a year. I just know what happened here, what the violation of due process that occurred here. This is a big dog county attorney, and he's been conspiring with the attorney on the one side, but yet he's supposed and even litigating for the other side. Yet he's the general counsel to the hearing officer, who calls me a layman multiple times, who also is a layman, which is, I kept rolling my eyes internally when he would say, it was like, it's true, no false statements, I am a layman. But it's like, dude, let's just say, okay, you're a dumbass, you're an impressive dumbass is what he's saying, but Papa, you're a dumbass too. We're both dumbasses, so it's like a dumbass calling another dumbass a dumbass. It's like, come on. Anyway, so we have David Sherman, who's general counsel to the dumbass, to give validity to this that shouldn't have validity. And David Sherman should know better because my attorney should be present. Because if my attorney were present, and I talked to him after, he was like, what the hell were you guys doing for 8 hours? That hearing should not have happened. It should have been continued. They knew that I was at a hearing. You came in and said that I was at a hearing. You came in and said that I wasn't going to be there. It's on them to say, oh, well, it would be unethical for this hearing or a violation of due process for this hearing to move forward without your attorney present. And David Sherman, this is why this is his video. He should have known better. All right, let's finish it off. Oh, wait. And the traveling, the whole traveling trapeze thing. Yeah, I already touched on that. They try to argue that it was a permanent structure. Well, it's not.
Okay. All right. Closing.
Okay. The county is asking your honor to affirm citations P04. Based on the testimony you heard today and the evidence submitted, the county is asking your honor to affirm citations P042011, P042014, and P042009.
Very good. The responsibility lays heavy that the government does the right work and follows proper procedure. It is a public trust, and they have violated that trust, in my opinion, by not following proper procedure. So it's hard to hold me, my wife, responsible to put that swing set in the backyard because that's our life. And it's not meant to be understood. I understand if others don't get it, they don't appreciate it because it's not in their purview of how they want to live. But it's definitely within ours. We love that swing set. And we want to share it with everybody. So yes, we made a business out of it so that we can be legal. We pulled the proper permits for all that stuff to be legal. We cannot be held responsible when procedure isn't done right. The county should go back and do it the right way.
And while you're asking, and for their edification, because we're going to speak to them after, there's something called Meet Q that RER has that allows basically a team from RER to consult with the public to help facilitate them to obtain permits. Okay. They can set that up online through the RER website.
I'm sure he'll know how to figure certain things out, well, regardless. But what I'm also curious about is, with respect to the department's citation relative to the attached addition. I'm wrestling with the evidence that I've entertained with regard to that citation, and I want to shift the criteria of relevance now. The department might have the option to go back out and investigate that particular element on the property if I find against the county.
No.
No.
I don't want to get into why, but typically they don't do that. And I'll tell you, and it's
Did you catch Ingrid Castillo trying to give counsel to the hearing officer? No.
part of her, she can rebut. There's been no evidence that it doesn't exist. No testimony.
A structure exists. What I'm reconciling, Mr. Sherman, in my mind, with regard to that citation, is the degree of evidence that was employed
The only
relative to coming to the conclusion that it was an attached structure.
It doesn't matter whether it's attached or detached.
All right, so that's where the video ends. There's a lot of doesn't matter. And there's going to be, remember, I'm trying to keep this short. We're already at half an hour. And that's it. I want to keep it there. There's a lot of information I wanted to go through, but come on, I can't. So if you come over here to the Florida bar, you can see, you can read through this. Florida standards for imposing lawyer sanctions. I mean, you just go to floridabar.org. And this is, standards for imposing lawyer sanctions, stuff like that. And it will go through, and by all means, if you want to read through it, but it's good stuff. I know I'm going to use it. I know what to expect. The Florida bar takes these things very seriously. Their sole objective, and I mean sole objective, is to protect the public through the Constitution of the United States and the state of Florida. And this does run through the Supreme Court of Florida. And I'm almost 100% positive they're going to take this very seriously. They're going to investigate it, and he's probably going to get Sherman will get sanctioned in some way out of this, and that's what keeps this system intact. It gives it when they do this, because I really do trust they are going to do this. They don't have a skin in the game. They don't know David Sherman. They just know that there are bad attorneys out there who make the organization, the judicial system, it makes it look bad, and it loses validity when they police themselves. And in my research, the Supreme Court of Florida has done a very good job policing themselves. The bar has done a very good job policing themselves. Of course, they're not perfect. They're humans, and yes, they've done some things that are wrong, but I can't point to any of them right now. But I can point to a lot of things that they do right. And when you argue this, and I think David is going to have a very bad year. I've had a very bad, almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years later on this year. So very bad 2.5 years. I have been ill countless times. I'm already $125,000 plus into attorneys. Just like I said, just to be able to appeal this is, now again, the hearing officer was caught on a hot mic. We were still on the record, even though he thinks we weren't. Well, we were, because the public record that I got, which is the one I'm going to use, not my cameras, not my microphones, I'm going to use what the county gave me as a public record. That catches him. We were always on the record, and he says things, and he kind of, it kind of shows that he was prepared to never just do smoke and mirrors, never overturn these citations. He was always going to affirm them. And he also knows that I'm going to win on appeal. There wasn't a doubt in his mind. But he wants to make David Sherman happy. I think he has more of a relationship with David Sherman, like Jim Byers and these big dogs up there who are constantly breaking the law and violating the public trust. But anyway, Jim Byers is named. I got videos on Jim Byers. He's another one. I'm not going to talk to you on camera. He's another one who denied service because of the camera. But he is listed on as a defendant in my federal lawsuit for good cause. All right. So here's the oath that attorneys take. I do solemnly swear I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Florida. You guys feel free to read through all of this. All of this can be found at thefloridabar.org. Here's an opinion that talks about conflict of interest. Now this has to do with a criminal case, but it's still conflict of interest. I was reading through that, I found it very interesting. It's 87-1. And then if you want to file a complaint, you come up here. When you first go to the Florida bar, you can go to public, you can go to lawyer complaints and discipline. And if you come down here, here's like a mediation type thing before you file a complaint, because it's very serious. It's very serious. They take it very seriously. So they hope that we can come to some type of agreement before I file a formal complaint. I doubt that happens. You see, they stop at nothing because they're working with county money, taxpayer money, and there's no real accountability. They know they don't get in trouble unless I go this route. Well, see, I'm already in trouble as of right now. I'm a violator. I'm a violator, and I feel like I'm a piece of shit, you know. And it's wrong. Don't get me wrong. Everything that they did is wrong. That's why they dropped those 3 citations, because, in my opinion, I don't think those neighborhood compliance code officers, they were like, I don't want any more part of this. You make me go up there, I'm going to tell the truth, because they lied before, and they're also named in the federal lawsuit, unfortunately, because I actually like them, and I like them, like I genuinely like them, and they're being coached and being trained improperly, and unfortunately, they're the ones who did the illegal act, so they're the ones that I have to sue. I don't. That's the way the Monell claims work. You have to sue the individual, but they'll eventually come clean. And I'm sure we're going to go to a settlement. The only problem is it's a very costly settlement for me because of what I've gone through. And I'm going to make Miami-Dade County better. The law, the way the government interacts through this, you know, that's part of the settlement. The way the government interacts with the public is going to be improved. Well, I don't work for free either. I didn't suffer all of this for nothing. You know, I'm not running for mayor for free because this is exactly what I'm going to do as the mayor. Is I'm going to have my team of attorneys in the mayor's office, and we're going to go through the code. And by the way, I have evidence in the code, and I'll make a separate video for that. Miami-Dade County has racist terminology still on the books. They haven't cleaned it up, and there's no way around it. It's racist, and it might be something old and they haven't cleaned it up, or maybe it is that they still abide by this. And we'll make a separate video for that. So if you want to file a complaint, this is where you come. And then here, this is one of the rules 4-2.4, lawyers serving as third-party neutral. In this case, and you guys can read through this. I think I can make it smaller. You guys feel free to read through this and look it up or pause it. But it's very clear that David Sherman's whole purpose of being there is general counsel to the hearing officer, who again we established is a dumbass like you and me who are not attorneys. Again, dumbass in reference to the law. We are not trained. We are not trained or qualified to practice law. So we can't be held responsible fully when we talk about the law, or you know, people are not going to take us seriously when we talk about the law. So yeah, I talk about the law here, but I tell you straight up, this is my opinion. You know, I'm a layman. I'm a dumbass when it comes to all of this stuff. I'm not qualified. So anyway, if you read through this, it talks about how unethical things are when a lawyer is serving as a third-party neutral, or basically an arbitrator or mediator. And in this case, that's what David Sherman's whole purpose to be in that hearing is, according to the code, because you can't give validity to this hearing if there's not a county attorney who understands the law, who's not a dumbass, who's incredibly competent, so is there. Because, or unless the hearing officer himself is a licensed attorney, well, then you don't need a county attorney there. This part wouldn't be here, but because they hire dumbasses, you guys comment down below what you think. Is this unethical? Is this a violation of due process? You know, and we look at the 5th and 14th Amendment. And my attorney doesn't want to touch it. He's like, you look, at the end of the day, we have a lot going on. And I don't blame him, and I didn't push it too hard. He said the courts in general don't want to hear due process claims. They will absolutely hear it. You have a great case, but with everything going on, do we want to muddy the waters? Because we have a strong argument right now, and he goes, we can always amend the complaint, and if you want it, I'll do it. You're the client. I said, no, I believe, in my heart believe that we should do it, but I also am a guy who takes advice from a good attorney. He's a good attorney. He's proven himself to me. He knows the law. He knows what he's doing. And if he doesn't want to do it right now because we want to focus on what we already have, well, I'm going to take that advice. Even though in my heart, I really want to go after this whole due process. But again, I'm a dumbass. This is why we have representation. People who understand the law, they study the law, they practice the law, and they've been deemed qualified to interpret the law. That's the whole thing. See, the dumbass, Peter Kochalakos, is not qualified to interpret the law. But you get around that as a hearing officer because you have general counsel from the county attorney's office. And we've already established all that. David Sherman, he can expect a bar complaint coming in very soon. We'll see if the Florida bar does anything about it. I'll keep you guys apprised. I thank you so much. This video has already gone far longer than I needed to go. I love you. I love my wife. I'll see you tomorrow.
I believe in due process, so I don't believe in this idea, that the government can just take someone's property and then go through due process later.